alti.com.
Hello, welcome to today's edition of the Alti interview. We have Alix Chosson from Candriam Asset Management in the studio. Hello, Alix. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. Glad to be here.
As lead ESG analyst, environmental research and investments, you are responsible for biodiversity. What is so exciting about this topic?
A lot of things. It's truly a fascinating topic for, let's say, good and bad reason. The bad reason is that obviously we are facing a massive biodiversity loss crisis. So we need to act as soon as possible and on a very large scale. And on the most positive side, it's obviously a very fascinating topic, one of probably the most complex we've had to deal with in an investment community, and much more complex than climate. So obviously, as analysts, it makes our job very, very interesting and very challenging.
What significance does it have for professional investors?
Actually, a lot of significance. We cannot see it right now. We say that biodiversity is everywhere, but it's invisible, especially in economic models and even more in obviously investment decision. But our societies obviously depends very, very heavily on biodiversity. We say that more or less half of the world GDP is moderately or heavily dependent on biodiversity. And basically 80% of the crops, so 80%, let's say, of the food we eat is also dependent on pollination. So we need biodiversity to be protected. We need biodiversity to be vibrant and to provide ecosystem services just if we want our society to be resilient. So as investors, as economies, obviously, we need to find solution to protect biodiversity, or at least first to stop damaging biodiversity. And so it's whole kind of new economic model that we need to put in place just to make biodiversity visible, because we cannot wait for biodiversity to have fully disappeared before we start acting on biodiversity.
What highlights will you bring to the Alti event Sustainability, Biodiversity and Planetary Health on May 13th?
So we'll explain the context. So just what I described, that we are facing a huge biodiversity crisis and we need to act. That obviously this topic is very complex, much more complex than climate, much more complex than any other probably ESG topics that we've had to deal with. But I mean, complexity is what makes our job interesting. So we need to obviously delve into the topic as soon as possible. So we'll explain those challenges. We'll explain how obviously currently there is no standardized model or framework to integrate biodiversity, but we cannot wait for regulation. We cannot wait for perfect framework. If you wait for the perfect data in ESG, you'll wait forever. So we need to just jump into the water, even if it's cold, and we need to find the answers to this biodiversity crisis and just transform investment decision now being more an issue and negative impact on biodiversity to being kind of more positive and managing to protect biodiversity. So a lot of things we'll discuss. We'll try also to highlight a couple of solutions that we try to integrate at Candriam as well. And hopefully, it will be a very interesting discussion. And looking forward to the questions from the audience, obviously, because it's always a very interactive topic.
That was Alix Chosson. She is lead ESG analyst, environmental research and investments at Candriam Asset Management. Alix will give a keynote speech entitled The Candriam Strategy to Preserve Biodiversity, and she will answer your questions on the panel. Register now, alti.de/roundtable24.
alti.com, the online portal for institutional investors in Germany, Austria and Switzerland. alti.com